A quick disclaimer before we begin. Everything discussed in this episode reflects our personal opinions and experiences as educators. Always use your professional judgment and follow your organization's policies when evaluating and using AI tools. Welcome to Classroom to Code. I'm Nadia.
And I'm Noni.
We are two teacher moms in two different countries who somehow found ourselves building apps, learning AI, joining a Replit build-a-thon, and realizing that maybe we were never as far from tech as we thought.
Because before we ever called ourselves builders, we were teachers. We were already adapting, troubleshooting, differentiating, testing, fixing, and trying again.
This podcast is about what happens when teachers stop waiting for someone else to build the thing that they need and start asking, can I make this myself?
We'll talk about the messy parts, the scary parts, and the what am I even doing parts. And the moments where something finally works and you think, wait, I actually built that?
We'll talk about AI literacy, education, app building, design mistakes, accidental wins, motherhood, and what it really looks like to go from an idea in your head to something real.
And if you're listening and thinking, I'm not technical enough, I'm too late, or people like me don't build things like this, then honestly, this is the show for you.
Because we thought that too.
And we were wrong. Welcome everyone back to Classroom to Code. Today we're talking about something a lot of educators and creators quietly feel, the stigma around using AI to build. There's this idea that if AI helped you make something, maybe it doesn't count. We want to challenge that directly.
Yeah, this is such an important topic, especially since we're early adopters of AI. Since we are teachers also, and education seems to be a little bit hesitant for obvious reasons about adopting AI. And so I'm glad that we're talking about this. We're going to talk about, what we think, and we can, reference some of the discussions that we've had with other builders as well. And then we're going to talk about animations in Replit because Noni's made some really awesome animations. I've dabbled in it as well, and I think that it might be useful for some of you to see, especially since we want to make teaching and learning interactive.
Yeah, I think we'll continue with our previous build to show some of the animation features today, some really cool stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Last time, if you did not watch our last episode, I recommend you go back to that and have a look at how Noni and I, in under $15 in half an hour, built out an education app for history with no plan. We were really doing it on the spot. And we're going to keep building on that app just so that we have a project that gets better and better. So Noni will walk us through that. And then we'll talk about some of the best practices in animation and how we make sure that we keep it accessible. So first, the stigma, and I'm curious, Noni, you said something really interesting about stigma in with AI and in education.
Yeah, sometimes when I mention AI or even vibe coding to people, they just think it's cheating, like a cheating to the finish line. And I completely disagree with that. What do you think?
Yeah, so the cheating piece of it is so interesting. And I think, especially in education, one of the things that people think of is kids or students who will use something like ChatGPT, type in their prompt for whatever the teacher gave them for their assignment, and then they copy and paste it. So, can
Mm-hmm.
AI be used for cheating? It absolutely can. And we're educators. We are the first people who want our kids and our students to learn, and want to encourage academic honesty as a virtue. But at the same time, we need to talk about ethics around AI. So just
Mm-hmm.
like anything, and I think it was Brandon of Replit EDU who uses this analogy where he said, AI it's like a knife, right? So if you use it to hurt somebody or unethically, then it is something that is not good. But if you use it to make food or to cook, then it's something useful and something good, right? So it's really AI itself is not good or bad. It's a tool,
Mm-hmm.
and how you use it is everything.
Yeah, I think especially for teachers, I think this can feel even heavier because we're used to being judged on process. But building with AI does not mean you did nothing. It means that you used a tool to help you turn ideas into something real.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think of AI as something that helps you be more efficient and helps your ideas come to life rather than something that you just take the output, you give it a prompt, and then you blindly copy and paste. And
Hmm.
it's a huge discussion, and I think because the technology is always evolving, we are still figuring out what ethical use is and what's not, because we want to respect people's intellectual property. We want to, honor accuracy in what we do, but at the same time, it is making us. It's a shortcut sometimes to
Hmm.
creating things, and of course, that's going to step on some people's toes. Whether we're talking about education or whether we're talking about development or app development.
I think this kind of idea comes from those who haven't um, dived into using AI tools. Once they know what it's capable of, and when they realize that um, a person can use AI and still be the creator, the designer, the decision maker, um, they need to be able to explore the tool themselves to really understand what it is that is actually behind AI. It's more of a support system more than anything else. And it's more of it is shortcuts to get to your final stage, but don't we all need shortcuts for things?
Yeah, I mean, and do we honor the end result, as long of course ethics always matter, but getting
Mm-hmm.
there and saving time is that, like you said, judging by the for the process, that's a major key, right? Like we have the end result, we still have, a good lesson or grades or whatever you're using it for, we develop an app. Does it matter how we got there if we did it ethically? I guess the question
Mm-hmm.
becomes, is it ethical to use it for certain things, and
Yeah.
is it not? And so really I mean, it's like a philosophical question about AI ethics. And I think that the stigma is a big piece of that. And I wanted to share with you, actually, this just came to mind. A couple weeks ago, I got on a Facebook group. I'm not an active Facebook user, but I got on a Facebook group with teachers, and I just put out feelers because I wanted to know. I was like, I sense this stigma. I'm a researcher, and so whenever I have a question, I try to get data. And what I did is um, I pulled out, just a question, and I looked at the themes that emerged in the questions that I asked, and it was really, really interesting. I kind of want you to guess, like, what do you think people said?
I feel like maybe they were quite negative about it because you don't find many educators going into this you know what's the word, world of AI, using the AI tools.
Yeah.
And then because they're a little bit afraid of them. Maybe I feel like maybe they do have a bit of resentment against it or a bit of fear with the AI tools. What was it like? Negative or positive feedback?
It was a mix, and I'm actually going to, if you'll give me a second, I'm going to pull it up because I have it on here. I have it on Replit. I created a little slide that shows my results, and I was going to share it.
Oh, cool.
I wasn't sure when I was going to share it, but since we're talking about it, it might be useful for our conversation. So give me one moment to pull it up. But I would say you are correct in that I do think it was overwhelmingly negative. And without
Wow.
going into too much about, what was said, it ranged from everything from it's a useful tool and people need to accept it to we're ruining the environment. And I think that's a really big one that we should talk about is environmental concerns. Have you ever heard anything about that?
Yeah, I have. I have. I've heard that it can be quite negative towards and have a really big impact on the environment.
Yeah, yeah. And people talk, I think, about water usage, right? Like that's a big thing. Oh, it's using all the water. And I do not want to minimize that at all. But I think
Mm-hmm.
one thing that we hear about a lot that we don't or one thing that we don't hear about is the efforts that people are making um mitigate that. So here, I've
Mm-hmm.
got the slides and I'm going to show you what the teacher said in my analysis here. So you'll see, like I like to make sense of things that are hard to understand. And one of the things for me is why, if AI is so good and it can help teachers so much, why are so many people resistant to using it?
Hmm. I think what you said about earlier as well about ethics, about using it ethically, I feel like for educators, that's just a natural thing that's embedded into their systems.
Hmm.
Um, so when they know how to use it ethically, they should give it a try. I really, really recommend it.
Right.
Educators
Right. And
diving deeper.
I'm not going to go through this, but this might be, a good way to see how I use my Replit slides as well. One of the things that I look at is, I just asked a prompt. I said, how do you use AI? If you do, how do you use it? Was a follow-up question. And I just pulled out different, um, different things that were said. So here are some of the exact quotes, and this is what I wanted to share. Some people were all about it, and they said it saves me hours and hours. Um, if it's used as a useful, not perfect tool, then I don't have a problem with it, was another one. Um,
Hmm.
some people said it's making us dumber, but I use it because planning is limited. Interesting, right? So more nuanced approaches. And then other people said, I see how it's useful, but the environmental impact is too great. I won't give in. So these are actual responses that I got.
Hmm.
And I pulled out, so I was like, some people love it because it's helping with their time, their labor, all of that. And then there is, a little bit of like secrecy around it. They're quietly using it. I don't know, in your practice, do you see that a lot? I saw it a lot. And that's why I
I
asked.
did in the beginning, but not so much now. It's more openly used because the leadership of the school they like to use AI, so they've kind of pushed that on to the rest of the staff too. But maybe earlier on, a few years ago, it was used in secrecy.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was definitely secretive, and now people will kind of hush hush tell me like, "Hey, I do use it. I use it to craft my IEP goals, or like
Hmm.
for a quick lesson or to adjust a lesson." And I think that there is progress being made, and it's something that was talked about on the live today too. For Replit, as we were talking about, adoption of new tools and how it's normal for there to be a stigma initially, right? So
Yeah.
like initially people are going to be like, "No," and it happened with the printing press, I guess, and
Hmm.
happen with cars. And it's usually people who feel like their job is threatened. Um,
Hmm.
one of my favorite examples from my research was how when email came out, and people started adopting it in the workplace, the people who were very upset were the people who run the mail, the physical mail or the notes from office to
Yes.
office. So it's change, and change is constant,
Hmm.
but I do
And
think
change is scary.
it's really scary, but it's also like
Hmm.
the only guarantee,
Yeah.
right? Is that things are going to change. And so that leads into a huge discussion. But I think that, in the context of education, one thing that I would say to teachers, like if I had to put it together, is you are still the human. You're still the one who is going to review all the outputs. Um, and I think it's unethical to blindly copy anything from AI. And I see this as an
Hmm.
AI user, that the second you put your name on it, it's yours, right? When it comes to like
Yeah.
output, and you're responsible for that. So I can't copy something and say, oh, wait, that was AI. Like that's not my responsibility if I taught it to my students or if I put it in a document,
Hmm.
whatever. You have to review, and I tell people line by line, word by word.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to realize that you still have control. It's not like it's taken over. You've got control of what the output is.
Mhm.
And that's just something that some people don't believe, but they do have control over it. If it's an AI tool to support you along the way, but you're still in control of the outcome.
Yeah, and it's something I think for some of us, can you see my screen? Yeah, it's for some of
Hmm.
us, it's a way to get started, especially those of us who might have something like ADHD. We have that paralysis where it's difficult, a task feels overwhelming. So it can help with getting you started, the momentum. That's a big piece for me when I use AI. But I will
Yeah,
never submit to anything a piece of like something that was AI generated without reviewing it. So I think that's really important.
yeah.
What do you think about AI with when it comes to like vibe coding?
Again, people think it's cheating. So when I've spoken to, so me personally, I think it's amazing that I didn't have to learn coding. There is a few terms and terminology that I've had to pick up, but when I've told people about vibe coding, and how I've made my app, um, they're like, "Isn't that cheating?" And I'm like, "What do you mean cheating?" I just and they just believe it's not the right way because I didn't have to go through all of the coding. It's like, but for me, it's a shortcut. It's not cheating.
Yeah, I always think about working smart, not hard, right? Like if you're going to write a
Yes.
book and you can either type it or you can write it by hand, typing it is a more efficient way. And it's,
And then you think that, like, if vibe coding is available, why am I going to learn vibe? Why am I going to learn to code all over again? Like us being a teacher and a mom, and then we've done all our education. Why am I going to go back to learning, trying to learn again? I don't have the time for that.
yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
great for me.
I think it's great for domain expertise, right? So like I didn't study software engineering. I took a couple courses here and there in front end development. I know some of the words, like I'm definitely not a developer without vibe coding. I do think knowing how to code will probably help you figure things out pretty quickly when it comes to
Like
vibe.
knowing the basics.
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
basics. Even today, I knew, you know what certain kinds of files are called, or you have an idea. It can help you come up with creative solutions too. But
hmm
because I didn't have to be a software engineer, I can use my domain expertise, which is education, deaf ed, to develop something directly rather than having to go through someone where I have to explain everything. And that is
hmm
something that is, I mean, it shaves off like years of development time, right? Like the less
Yeah.
cooks in the kitchen and the expert can do it themselves. I think that's scary to some people, but I think
hmm
that a lot of developers realize that we still need engineers. We are going to need people who understand the back end of how all of this works. And there's always going to be a difference in the kind of jobs that you do from now on with, AI and stuff, but we're not becoming irrelevant because we're still the humans. Our jobs are just changing, right? So,
hmm
um,
We're still giving the instruction. And again, like I said before, we're in charge of the outcome.
yeah, 100%. I think that's the biggest thing is we're giving the instructions. Another thing, and I love analogies, somebody said to me, you can have the same oven and you can have, say that you're making the same thing, but the way AI works, if I say I'm making a pie and you're making a pie using the same oven, my pie's still not going to be the same as yours because
hmm
the decisions that you make step by step are going to be different depending on me and you. Like
Yeah.
our font choices are the perfect example. Our branding,
hmm
like there is a Noni look and feel. I love and respect your design so much. I think it's so good. And I have my own, which is different. And I mean, that's just individuality. It's like we're
hmm
it's not going to be the same. And so people need to understand AI is not creating cloned apps, right? Like
hmm
it can, but I don't think, that's not what creative people are using it for.
Yeah. I think I've tried it once before, and when you mentioned this cloned apps, in two separate Replit accounts, mine and my son's, and we both use the same prompt, and it created two completely different apps. Same prompt, different app. So when you talk about not cloning, it still produced the same features, but it looked completely different,
Yeah.
according to the prompt that we gave it. So yeah, it doesn't clone. There's no cloning. It depends. And then using that basic, we added in our own features and designs, and it completely different from one another. One was his taste, one was my taste, personalized to ourselves.
Right. I think that that's a really good point that you can give the same prompt. Even if something, it doesn't have to be like Replit or we're making apps. You can open Chat GPT and you type something. I mean, if you have your phone on you, it's maybe an experiment we can do right now.
Okay.
Where let's type the same prompt. I'm gonna
Okay.
say,
Get open.
write me a math problem for third grade.
Okay. Write me a math problem for third grade.
Okay, proof. This is my Chat GPT. That's what I wrote. Exact words.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see mine? There you
I can, yeah. Okay.
go. Okay.
I'm pressing. All right. What's your math problem?
Okay, Emma has 24 stickers. She gives 9 stickers to her friend and then buys 15 more stickers. How many stickers does Emma now have?
Okay, so that's interesting. We use the
Oh,
same.
what?
It's not the same problem. I have
Okay.
Maya, but
Ah,
she has 36 stickers.
okay, so it went with the stickers.
I love stickers, and we also use the same agent, but that's
Don't
interesting.
educate us all those stickers.
Yeah, how many stickers will each friend get? Will there be any stickers left over? So I think it's different, right? The
Mm.
problem itself is different. And then it gave
Yeah,
me,
mine's more of a subtraction, and then
yeah.
yours is like division.
Oh
So it
yeah, yeah,
gave us a
it is different.
different,
She
yeah,
wants to
so it
share them.
gave us a different operation.
Yeah. So,
Just
okay.
changing numbers, but it stuck with the stickers. Looks
Yeah.
like a ChatGPT likes its stickers.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's fascinating. That's like a little experiment, right? Like I love to test things and collect the data. And the thing is,
Hmm.
the same exact prompt, your agent or your AI, your chat knows you, will probably customize it according to the way that you've used it, the way you write problems, whatever it is. Mine is different. So I think people need to understand that it's not just input output, right?
Hmm.
It's a collection of factors. Um, okay. I think that it's important to just understand that you're the director, right? You're still
Hmm.
calling the shots. You're deciding what to build.
You have the idea. You actually some people use AI to pick up an idea too, but there's always options, and you still have your own idea. You have your own design to it. It's personalized to yourself.
Yeah, I think that the thing is, at the end of the day, it's always going to be your judgment. And we are afraid of what we don't understand. And so for people who feel afraid of I think the number one thing is understanding it and what it can do and what it can't do. And I think if there's a reason why you're against AI for environmental reasons or ethical reasons, there are actual things, and maybe we can get into this later about what the environmental impact is of a prompt versus, a drive to the store and things
Hmm.
like that. So much of what we're doing, and again, it's cost benefit, and I'm not going to tell anybody ethically what they should do, but there are different things that people are doing now where there's a shift because of the stigma and because of the environmental impact in different ways, different cooling systems for data centers, things like that. I don't hear that on the news. A calculator didn't end math. The word processor didn't end writing. People don't not know how to write because we can type. Right. And
Hmm.
there will be the people who will say, oh, yeah, we've got like, um, what's it called? We've got worse handwriting, things like that. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but not necessarily. We had bad handwriting before. And if it's a skill that you want to
Hmm.
work on, I think my handwriting is the same, even though I spend now most of my time, typing. So I think it's important to just remember that we are the ones now who are directing and revising and judging the result and using our judgment.
Yeah, and we still have those skills. Like going back to your handwriting, we still have handwriting skills, but we can also type up.
Yeah, yeah. And our domain expertise are now our moat. Moat is a term I learned. It's like the thing that keeps you safe, right? The moat around the castle. Um,
Hmm.
so when we're talking about building apps, I think the number one thing is that as a domain expert, as an educator, as an expert in primary education, that's your moat. That's the thing that makes your judgment and your opinions, it's going to be different than someone who doesn't know that, right? Or who
Hmm.
hasn't spent that time in the classroom. You and I both still teach students, right? So that's our moat too. Like we know, we can see how students are interacting with technology and apps and things like that in real time. So your domain is what keeps you unique as a builder. Your AI is also not going to give you the same input or output for your input.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's time to hand it over to you, Noni. I would love for you to share your screen and we can talk about how you make animations. Let's do it in our app.
Yeah, very excited. So we're going to add motion to our app by using the animation feature. So in our last episode, we Nadia showed us how to use skills and instructions, and whilst we were doing that, we built our app. Let's share my screen. Okay, can you see?
I can.
Okay, So this is our website that we ended up making. This it's called Time Explorers. Got Welcome Time Explorers. We have a journey map, and then it's all about history. So we'll use this today to create animation. So if we go and begin mission, just so you kind of have an idea, start exploring, and we just got a little bit of information about each topic. So I think today we'll should we just go with Stone Age?
Whatever you think would be fun, go for it.
Okay,
I would
let's
love
go.
to do
Let's
all
stick
of it.
with Stone Age to Iron Age. And, you know, you can give me some tips as well on what to add in. Let's I'm gonna ask Agent to add an artifact. You can also do it up here. So this is our website, but you can create something new. So build with Agent, and you can do animation, and it's just put a little note here that it's animation. So describe your animation. Okay. Create a cartoon, 3D cartoon. Let's do 3D. That's not a 3. It's very hard to type in the dark. 3D cartoon animation about the Stone Age. So really plain language.
Yeah, you didn't give a whole lot of detail, but I like how you put in your style. Like you like the 3D cartoon animation because there's so much, if you just say animation, there's so much you could do, right? There are like explainers, there's so many different ways to do animations. I've seen a lot of like anime style as well, but
Mm-hmm.
you and I both, we talk about how, and I think it's especially effective with kids is that 3D cartoon animation look. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it engages them. I think for them right away, it says like movie and entertainment, even if you're teaching, about the Stone Age or whatever.
Yeah. And I've just gone with power mode. I don't know about you, but I love to use power mode. I feel like it creates a really good result.
Yeah, so I think power mode is where you should start and build out. And then I think
Mm-hmm.
edits to save credit should be done in economy, especially simple edits. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if I say, oh, I want you to add something that could be coded in basic HTML, like I want you to add, a box here, or I want you to change the padding on something, whatever, like you could do that really easily in economy. I've never used
Yeah.
light mode. I don't know about light mode.
No, I've never tried light mode either, but I have heard that it can. It's just for like small, tiny little changes, like maybe changing the color of something or changing the font of a particular page,
I would say,
but not for big changes.
yeah, it's definitely a skill to know which mode to use when, I think.
Okay, so whilst it's building this out, it's just come up with the earn $20 in credits. So if you sign up to the core plan or the pro plan, you can get $20 in credits as well as your plan that you sign up for. Have you made any animations before?
I have. I've played with animations quite a bit. I actually use animations for marketing materials. So I posted some on my X previously with the skill that I use for it. So every time I make an app, I make a promo video with
Mm-hmm.
animation. And it
Ah,
actually it surprises me. I also have used it as like a background thing. One of the apps that I showed you today, I had some animations in there for like I wanted to create an experience of walking through like a bazaar, a Middle Eastern bazaar,
mm-hmm.
um, and I had that done with animations, and Replit did an awesome job with that.
Okay, I think I saw a preview of that and it was really interesting how it created the animations and the music with it. It was really good. I
Yeah, and
think
I
we
have
need
that.
to have a preview of that soon.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff cooking in the background. I've got my build-a-thon credits, and I every idea that comes to mind. we talked about this, making a list of our apps and organizing priority because, I made an app for dinner, deciding dinner every day with my husband because that's like anything that causes
That's so
friction.
handy for so many people. It's
Yeah.
so hard to decide what to have for dinner.
So I was just gonna do it for us. It checks the grocery store near you and checks like, the inventory and I set my budget and all of that. And I was just like, if I start making an app for every problem I have, I'm just gonna have
Mm,
apps. So I had to like make
loads
a
of
to-do
apps.
list and prioritize, the education apps first. And then I've got so many ideas for how we can just use our vibe coding and whatnot to just get rid of daily stressors, like problems you see again and again.
Yeah, I think once you start building an app, then you realize like all the time anything you're doing, you kind of think I can make an app for that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Anytime you see a
so many, and I've got so many apps, and I don't know which one to finish before I move on to the next one. So I think I need to make a list like yours to
Yeah, yeah,
prioritize.
100%. I think
Ooh,
use
okay,
oh,
it's doing something.
I love watching it cook.
It's not finished yet. I just gave it basic prompt. I didn't want to get into detail with it, but just from the basic prompt, I really like these visuals.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna go back into some of my old apps and add animations because I do so many
Yeah,
different kinds of educational apps, and I think if we add animations, it's awesome.
it is. It's what children want. I'm just gonna click on the canvas so it can zoom out, and you can see this is my website artifact. Oh, it's making sound. Can you hear the sound?
I can't. You would have to share the sound on Zoom, but
Okay, maybe I won't share the sound because this is pretty loud. Okay,
yeah. But that's awesome.
let's
So
share
yeah, it
sound
does
then.
that.
Maybe you can.
Do you want me to share the screen? I can also, I think, see. But I think the number one thing is like you didn't even tell it to make sound. Like the sentence that you
Mm-hmm.
put in was so basic and easy um
Hmm.
that it was not, you didn't stress about it. It's creative on its own.
Yeah. You know what? One thing that I'm not too keen on is that these animations you can't pause them. I mean, maybe you can, but I haven't figured it out. I can't pause it.
Yeah, so what I do with my animations is I ask it to give me an MP4 or a video of it, and then you can
Hmm.
kind of play with it that way, and I will
But
edit it
it
outside.
would be great if you could do it whilst you were building it out.
Hmm. That's a good point.
Um,
Yeah. It's awesome what it can do, but there's definitely more capabilities that I think could be unlocked.
yeah, it's quite cool actually. I really like the images it's made,
Hmm.
and this is on power as well. I wonder what it would be like if it was economy. I don't think it'd be as good.
I can see it on my end as well. So this is really cool. Noni and I, for our builds that we're doing for the podcast, and for other things, we share with each other. And I just love the collaboration because I can see what Noni's doing, like what you've created. I'm looking at the animation on my screen as well because we've shared the project with each other. So
Yeah. So you invited me via email,
yeah.
via
There's
my Replit email. And then I accepted it. So now I can build on this side and you can build on your side on the same project, which is really cool.
Yeah, so if you're managing teams and stuff, it's pretty cool to be able to work on the same project. And it
Mm,
shows you who did it too. So like when you are like it'll say it's working on a task that Noni had approved, and it's showing me that on the side. So very cool
okay,
stuff.
so it's still running something. The animation looks like it's done, but it's still running. I think it's just completing the task. But yeah, it's made a very simple animation. I really like the background and the images, and it's got a bit of information on each slide, not too much. I think that's because, like your last episode, you had a skill or instruction where you said not to add too much information on one.
Yeah, so it's
Is
actually
that?
an instructional design principle where we segment down information. So none of that like long form where you've got line after line after line. And so automatically what I designed because I put it in my instructions that, hey, I want segmenting, I want
Mm-hmm.
that to be part of how you design instructional materials. It knows to do that for my animations, for my sites and whatnot. And I think people don't realize like what that it's a principle. It'll say like someone will say, "Oh, this is easy on the eyes," or "This is a nice design," and whatnot. But really, there are principles that are applied through my instructions that make it one like it's best practice based on the research, but it's also you know it's easy to navigate and easy to understand. So many times
Hmm.
I've seen a great idea with bad design, and it's like, oh, your idea is so good, but it's like, overwhelming if somebody's not familiar.
Yeah. I don't know if you recently saw on X, but there was a user, a Replit user, Kevin Blumson. Have you heard
Yeah,
of the Blumson brothers?
I keep hearing their name. I think they
They're
do games, right?
fantastic. Andrew Blumson, yeah, they make games amazing. Andrew Blumson always coming out with a new game. But Kevin Blumson recently tweeted about his son, 13-year-old son, made an animation related to something that he learned in school
Yeah.
about Jack the Ripper.
He
And
tagged
the
us
way the
in.
animation came out was absolutely amazing.
So
If
cool.
Yeah, I definitely recommend people go and checking that out. Kevin Blumson on X. Um,
I
he
love
posted his third, and he was 13 years old. It's something he learned in school, and he made slides. Was it slides or animation?
it
I
was there
think
was
it was.
an I think.
I think it was an animation. Yeah, and it was the way it was made. So atmospheric. It was really good.
It was really,
Okay.
really cool. And I think that it's so awesome that it was made by a 13-year-old. Like I love
Yeah,
seeing what kids can do or students when they're just given the tools and you're like, go have fun. So it's awesome.
yeah. So this is just some basic animation. Again, on this you can add, take away, change completely however you want. Um, so just asking you can watch in Pen Stone Age. Want me to add narrated voiceover? Should we do voiceover?
You should, I mean, if you want to use your 11 Labs API to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do that, you could do that. They also, I think the default, like the fallback is just kind of that more mechanical AI voice. Um,
So I've built a couple of apps. No, I built one app, not a couple. How did I? I built one app and I asked it to use a voiceover, and it gave me a very smooth, really good voiceover. So, but it didn't use my Lemons Lab API.
maybe, I mean, try whatever you do. A lot of
Shall we
it,
try?
yeah. I
Let's see
use,
what it decides to do.
right.
Yes, add a voiceover. Okay, we'll let that work.
Okay. I'm gonna take back this screen and I want to show you some of the animations I've made if you'll give me a moment.
I also like how as it's doing it, it tells you what it's doing. So you
Hmm.
kind of like keep yourself updated as well with kind of things that it can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can find some examples of my animations that I've created. I think every single one of my animations or every single one of my projects has an animation. You know what?
Ah,
I'll show you the one that won the build-a-thon because I did create that animation um, on Replit. Pull that up real
oh,
quick.
we've got a little. Which voice should I use for narration? Okay, so it's giving me the option. It's
Uh-huh.
done. Use the built-in warm narrator voice. No setup needed, or set up Nadia Speechify voice. So we won't use your Speechify API. But let's see what the built-in warm
Oh yeah.
narrator voice
So
is
I
like.
have that as my default. It knows to do that. It's in my
Ah,
instructions actually. So that's probably why.
instructions.
Yeah, and because I'm the one who started the project,
Uh-huh.
I think that's why it's doing that.
Ah, okay, cool. Interesting.
And I'm gonna,
Okay. See
is it
what
building? I'm gonna share my screen real quick
it is building.
and I'm gonna show you on YouTube. Hi, I'm Nadia, founder of Modal Education, and I built a reading program for deaf students called Modal Literacy for the Replit 10-year Build-a-thon. I'm a teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, and honestly, I started building because I was tired of watching my students use ed tech that was not made for them. On average, deaf kids read far below grade level at graduation. But what I know is that my students are smart, creative, and capable. I've built video games for my students to play in less than 2 hours. For this build-a-thon, I built modal literacy, a tool where students can read books about themselves, see their teachers read it in sign language, draw and respond to picture writing prompts, practice vocabulary, and get support that meets them where they are. Well, you get the idea. But basically, it that whole animation was Replit.
Wow, it's really
Yeah,
cool. And that was back when it was the Build-a-thon, and it's just advanced so much since then.
2 months. It was 2 months ago. Was the
2 months ago, yeah.
yeah the
Wow. And
Replit.
Replit comes out with changes that every single day.
Oh yeah,
And
it's getting
from
better.
then till now, the changes are amazing.
It's unreal. I love it because I feel like I get like a dopamine hit every time I see that they'll say, "Oh, we just released this," or "Oh, we just partnered with this." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Yay, I'm gonna try it." So it's kind of addicting, but it's really fun to kind of track the timeline and see um, how much things have improved.
Yeah, it's actually hard to keep up, but it's really, really interesting.
Yeah. I wonder, is the animation done? It looks like it
The
is.
animation's done. It's added in someone called Sam, warm, articulate, non-fiction narrator, best for educational use, best fit for our history lesson. So they're going
Okay.
to generate all 5 narration clips, and then we'll take a listen, and I will figure out how to share
It's not using an
my
API for
voice.
that?
It's not, no. So this is what it did in another one of my apps. It didn't use API. It used a built-in voice, but I
Cool.
think it only has a specific amount of times it can use it.
Okay, that's really cool. That's something to explore further because, when it pulls from your API, if you have a paid membership, it costs per generation, I believe. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but if you're
yeah.
using that, I mean, that's awesome.
How do I share my voice?
So, give me one moment here.
I mean, the
Okay, so I think we have the voiceover and the animation. I have not seen this yet. Can you see my screen?
yep.
Perfect. Oh, and I have captions because it's part of my instructions, but you probably can't hear anything, so give me a second. Let me turn on the volume.
Welcome, time explorers. Let's travel back in time to discover the ages of metal.
Okay. Did it?
It's a really
Did
good
it?
voice. Can you just press X
First
in that
came the
top
Stone
corner?
Age. Early humans learned to chip rocks into sharp, strong tools for the very first time. Next was the Bronze Age. People mixed copper and tin to make shiny bronze for stronger tools and armor. Then came the Iron Age. Tough, mighty iron was so strong, it helped people build whole civilizations. From stone to bronze to iron, people kept inventing amazing new tools. Keep exploring with Time Explorers. Welcome, Time Explorers.
Good.
Let's travel
It's
back in
good,
time.
right? It's not that robotic voice.
No, it's pretty good. It sounds like a real person. I love that. And I love that you
Yeah, and I think there's certain amount that you can use of that voice until it asks you to put in your 11's lab API. But that was really good.
I'm
Um,
curious about the accent. I'm like, it has a British accent, whereas if I did it, I don't think I've ever had it give me a British accent. So
really?
yeah, I don't know if it's that smart.
Did we
But
initially say to make this a when we first built out the app? Did we ask it to go with the UK national curriculum or the US
we said
or
both.
both?
We said both.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I thought if we just said the UK one, it might have just done the British guy, but
Yeah. So that's awesome. I think that came out really well, especially for
mhm,
like I think your prompt was one sentence. It was
yeah,
amazing.
like
And
simple, so simple.
so
I
now
don't
we have,
go technical. I just simple, plain language.
yeah, you don't
Um,
have to write an essay. I think some people feel like you have to write this huge prompt and you don't have to. You can, right? If you
I mean,
want
when people won't have a lot to explain, and a lot of people use the voice, the audio instead of typing.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen that.
people like to chat to it and get all the ideas down. Depends on how you work. I prefer to chat because I don't like using my wrist so much, but um, then you can go into detail and explain things. But simple, plain language, and that was just 2 prompts, and we
Yeah.
got that. But you can change it so much. So it's just an example of how you can use animations in educational apps.
I think that's so great. And, kids are, and adults are drawn to that. I think that's why movies
Mm-hmm.
are such a big thing and whatnot. And so the fact that you can just make it is amazing. And that you can do it in a sentence, or if you want to go into more detail, I've had it make like instructional videos for me. I've had it do videos that are accessibility feature focused. So like if somebody's like, oh, what are the features that your product has? I'm like, focus on this. Or even like for your audience, like I'll say, I want something that's geared towards, school administrators or parents or whatever. And it does it. So you can definitely play with that. I definitely recommend doing animations with Replit and figuring out like where your happy space is and like what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's a big unlock, I think.
I feel like going back to my previous apps and making an animation using those, I think would be
I
a
think
good
that's what I'm gonna
idea.
do. I
I
think that
might I might be doing that today.
yeah, you need to get some sleep. And I think that it is, I mean, it is just so amazing to see what you've done. I know that you have your domain. Can you tell us a little bit about your domain? I saw you had animation
Yeah.
on there.
Launched it just yesterday, bambooClassroom.co.uk. I'll just go quickly share my screen. We have had a look at this before, when we were building the what were we doing? The canvas. We were having no, yes, we were looking at the region editor. So
I saw
it's
that.
finally launched, bambooClassroom.co.uk. We've got
Hmm.
our science, maths, writing interactive tools. This is where I've put some animations in. So watch and learn. Still lots to come, but I did ancient Egypt animations. Still gonna change this
So
webpage. I'm not too happy with it. Another, you can watch and explain a video about ancient Egypt. And then I've got my apps, links to my apps that's on the App Store, and also links to teacher resources for classrooms. And it takes me right to my Etsy.
amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I will check out your Etsy store because it's digital downloads, right? So it's not like you're waiting for anything in
Yes.
the mail. You can just download it, especially
Yes.
when I'm
Go
back.
straight to your email.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was awesome. Thank you for teaching us about animations today and
Very
for
exciting.
discussing the AI stigma. I think these are important topics, and a lot of us creators or builders are dealing with it quietly, or maybe we're hush hush about some of the things we're building or not, right? But everybody kind of
Hmm.
feels it, I think. So
I think it's a great tool to use, and I openly talk about it. So,
good. Yeah. I mean, we're early adopters. There's always, with early adopters, there's going to be pushback, and that's
yeah.
okay. As long as, we understand ethical use and we're conscious of our values and things like that as we're using it. I think that there's so much that we can do.
Okay, well, thank you for tuning into Classroom to Code. Again, look down in descriptions for any affiliate codes if you want to sign up to Replit.
Yes. And we look forward to seeing you at the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye.